Look around these halls, stranger. Take in these vases, these tapestries, these creaking statues and broken mosaics. They all have stories, these things. Stories that I shall relate to you. I'll be as truthful as I can, though sometimes my memory slips. And some of the stories passed down to me have become confused in repetition or embellished by poets, or were never true to begin with. And besides, some of the things I shall tell you, they're so astonishing you may not believe them anyway. Many cities will fall in this story. Few will be as magnificent as Babylon, once the largest city in the world. A city where gardens grew from rooftops, nourished by the sparkling Euphrates, which flowed right through Babylon's heart. A city ringed by lapis blue walls and gates that bore the names of gods. Darius, newly crowned king of the Persians, was not here to admire the sights. The Babylonians rejected the rule of Darius, and so he responded as Persian kings do, with thunderous wrath. From their vast realm, the Persians brought forth every tool of destruction they could muster. Looming siege towers, battering rams with heads of iron, arrows wrapped in burning flax. To Babylon, the Persians brought death.
The glorious stench of a siege camp. Let's get these supplies to the front.
You have a talent for logistics, Artafernes.
Glorified muleteer. What grand rewards come from being brother to the great king?
Half-brother. And it is only thanks to me that you have any authority whatsoever. Now, you have one more task. Deliver this bride, and ensure that the mercenaries in Babylon give us no trouble.
These men need our help! This cart is stuffed with enough jewels and golden drinking bowls to make you the richest man of any town you might choose. When the time comes, your men will repay their master. Understood?
Help the Persians, and try not to get killed, lads. We're gonna be rich men after this.
Fine work, little brother, and just in time. Our sappers have almost finished undermining the lapis-lined walls.
My lord, the Babylonians sally out to attack our siege works.
Evil-worshipping dogs! Well spotted, General. Defend the sappers!
Courage, men! The light of Ahura Mazda guides our arrows. They pour forth again! Hold, men!
See, Babylonian! Marduk forsakes you! Your walls are but wind-blown sand! Datis!
Into the city, men! Take out their command posts!
Crush all who stand in our way! Fine work, Datis! My cavalry will take things from here.
You fight for the Persians now, lads. It's all been arranged.
Ambush! Ambush! Pull back!
Remouth the hugger! No matter! Engineer! Divert this obstinate river, and we shall walk right across!
Across we go, men! Keep those bows above the water, and on to the palace!
Change of plan, boys. You're Persian mercenaries now.
Glorious work, that is! Watch closely, Artafernes. You might learn a thing or two.
You've got a new master now, boys. The Babylonians got outbid. You men fight for the Persians now.
Bring up the siege weapons!
Seize the palace and end this!
A wise soldier knows when to pull back and treat his wounds.
My Mithra, that hurts! Fetch the physician!
Bear witness, men of Babylon! Your gates, your gods, your armies will not hold me back! For my kingdom was granted me by Ahura Mazda, and blessed by all the gods who are! Now, bow!
You may have the impression that Darius was nothing but a violent conqueror. And indeed, he crushed all who opposed him with brutal force. But he was also an admirable administrator. Once the slaughter was over, he divided his empire into provinces known as satrapies, to be governed by trusted men. On the western edge of the empire lay the satrapy of Lydia, which Darius gave to his half-brother, Artaphernes. A remote posting, though not an unpleasant one. Lydia was a wealthy land of fine horses, gold-bearing rivers, and wine to rival any Mediterranean vintage. Along Lydia's western coast was a region called Ionia, and here dwelt Greeks, who many centuries ago had planted colonies along the Ionian shore. These Greeks rarely caused trouble for their Persian masters, and so long as they paid their tribute on time, the Persians were happy to leave their foreign subjects to their own devices. Enter Aristagoras, ruler of the Greek city of Miletus, a man whose ambitions regularly outstripped his capacities. His head filled with imagined glories, Aristagoras went to the court of the satrap Artaphernes and proposed a scheme to his master. If the Persians would provide Aristagoras with a fleet, he would conquer the island of Naxos for the great king. Artaphernes was intrigued. Naxos was a gem that would surely please his half-brother the king. And so Artaphernes summoned all that the expedition might require: shipwrights and steersmen, baggage handlers and quartermasters, cedar wood for triremes and cornel wood for spears, plump goats for eating, and white lambs for sacrifice. A glorious conquest seemed sure to follow.
Glorious days lie ahead, my friend. Soon we shall seize Naxos and bask in the praise of the great king and the riches of conquest.
We're not friends, Aristagoras. Nor do I need my brother's approval. Now, we must make ready for the first convoy to arrive. I suggest we prepare an escort, in case bandits try to seize the wagons.
Bandits? This region is entirely safe.
Help! Bandits are on our tail!
Six-eyed hacker! Protect the convoy! Datis, I presume my brother sent you here to keep an eye on me.
Just here to dispense some military advice. The great king doesn't fund expeditions like this without oversight, even for family. The Greeks, for all their faults, have many wise oracles who speak to their gods, one of which is not far from here. I would counsel you to visit.
Ah, satrap. I was told of your arrival. Hear these words, straight from sunbright Apollo. If you launch your ships against the isle where Father Zeus was raised, a great city will burn.
Precisely my intention. Perhaps these Greek oracles are worthwhile after all. I shall bring offerings and fresh barley cakes to your temple. Convoy has arrived. Sturdy oak for the ship's hulls. See it safely to Miletus. Another convoy is on its way. 3,000 Achaemenid and spears of Cypriot iron.
My shipwrights will put this splendid wood to good use.
Priestess, and bless our keen-eyed archers. I Are you certain that this expedition will be a success?
Of course. I have good friends among the Naxians. They will ensure our victory. I promise you that.
10,000 arrows, fletched with the feathers of eagles. Bring them in.
What delights you bring me, Artafernes? To have such good friends is a sweet thing indeed. Ah, fodder for the animals. Good. This is food for the men.
The ropes have arrived. See that they make it to Miletus.
What animals do you think it best to sacrifice before the voyage? I had a fine white heifer that might have been suitable, but we ate that.
Here are 200 oxen in train, fit for the table of a king. Never mind a petty tyrant. 34,000 oars arrive. This expedition had better be worth it, Aristagoras.
Oh, we have been honored. The great king honors us with the bounty of his realm.
The king approved this expedition while drunk, and then again while sober. Though I wonder if he may have been a little hungover the second time.
Poseidon prefers bulls to lambs, you know. But this should do.
You have all you asked for, and more. Now deliver me a victory, Aristagoras.
Set a course for Naxos. The Milesians will storm the city. Persians, you take out their naval base.
My men have done their part. You seem to be losing a lot of men, Aristagoras.
No, all going well here. By Zeus! His head came clean off! Sound the retreat! A tactical retreat!
Where are you going, Aristagoras? Aristagoras, where are you going?
Having squandered the great king's fleet, Aristagoras rightly feared for his head and most of his other body parts. But fear can make men do unexpected things. Rather than flee, Aristagoras launched a rebellion. Aristagoras knew that he'd need all the men he could muster. He sailed to Greece with a bronze map that showed the rich Persian realm, hoping to tempt would-be fortune-seekers from their rocky homeland. The cautious Spartans refused to get involved, but the Athenians, who are fond both of great adventures and reckless decisions, were easily persuaded. Returning with these Athenian treasure hunters, Aristagoras marched across Ionia, rallying cities to his cause and deposing any rulers who remained loyal to the Persians. Now, there are some who think that Aristagoras was a true freedom fighter, committed to Greek liberty. Others say he acted out of desperation or embarrassment. Others think he wanted only greater power for himself. Whatever the truth may be, Artafernes' once peaceful satrapy was now the site of a major rebellion, led by a man with nothing left to lose.
Hear me, citizens. For too long, the great king has stolen what is yours. Tell me, do you stand for rats in your storehouses, locusts in your fields, thieves in your marketplaces? No. No! So, march with us, brothers, and take back what is ours.
Aristagoras! That lying traitor! Assemble the men! I want that renegade apprehended!
The Greeks have quite the host. We must build up our forces before we face them directly.
Now, fellow Greeks, some may say, Aristagoras, you've gladly served the Persians for years, gaining wealth and power. Who are you to now proclaim our liberty? I respond, who could understand the bitter yoke of Persia, better than its most decorated slave. Tamers of horses, throw off your Persian overlords.
We must try to retake the towns. They are our recruiting grounds as well as sources of tribute.
These men wish only to be free. And so they are, once more. You, Seleutherios, witness this triumph.
Set great store by oracles and soothsayers. There is one such oracle nearby. Perhaps if we gain the trust of the mountain dwellers, they will show us the way. The oracle dwells among the high mountains, like the sacred peak of Bisatoon, nestling within the Zagros.
Your reverence is pleasing, Artaphernes. Step forth and tell me what manner of blessing you would receive.
Prayers to your archer god, to whisper as they notch their arrows.
Swift archers, join our noble cause.
Your treachery will be forgiven, horse tamers, if you ride for us.
Return to the service of the great king.
Masterful builders of chariots, we have need of your craft.
This town serves its rightful king again. Chariot makers, the great king has need of your craft.
My brother need not hear of your treachery, if you serve me well.
Sharpen those Achaemenid. The great king has need of you.
See how the traitor flees. An oath-breaker, a liar, and now a coward.
How's this for an oath, Persian? I swear by Ares, Enyo, and blood-loving Phobos that I shall return, and you will cower before me.
The army of Aristagoras, a rowdy band of desperate rebels, committed freedom fighters and avaricious fortune seekers, now made its boldest move yet. They descended upon Sardis, the mighty capital of Lydia itself, where Artaphernes governed in luxury. Like wolves ravaging a flock of lambs, the Greeks swarmed through the streets, overwhelming the unprepared garrison. Artaphernes watched on in horror. How had Aristagoras, who couldn't take tiny Naxos even with a Persian armada on his side, swept into Sardis uncontested? In what seemed like mere moments, the Greeks had seized the whole of Sardis, all except the Acropolis, where Artaphernes prepared to make his stand.
Bring up the reserves! The Acropolis cannot fall!
You heard him, men! Protect the citadel!
The main Greek force is gathered in the Agora. We are too few to face them now. But we may find men and weapons if we can retake the city districts.
The Acropolis may be safe now, but fire is spreading in the lower city. We must retake Sardis before there's nothing left.
Get away from the flames, men!
The market is safe from the blaze.
These who burn temples and break oaths on a whim.
The blaze has spread to the noble quarters. Save the district. Then requisition their chariots.
Protect those men! The menagerie and the lustrous horses of Nicaea are safe.
The smoke is suffocating! Find another way!
That stench can only mean one thing. The fire has spread to the tanneries.
The smoke is suffocating! Find another way!
Get out of that burning street!
The smithies are on fire. We should recover what arms we can. These men need our help. By the grace of Anahita, we've retaken the noble quarters.
Even the dead suffer Greek impiety. The necropolis and its shrines are ruined. A third of the city has succumbed to the blaze. Greek soldiers continue to flood into Sardis like demons pouring forth from Arazura. We should secure the city gates.
We've secured the tanneries. The northern gate is ours. No more Greeks will slip through here.
Defenders of Sardis, we will aid you. Stay clear of the smoke! The coin mints are aflame. There are furnaces there we might use.
Get away from the flames, men!
Out of the alleyway before you choke to death!
Get out of that burning street!
The wind carries the fire to the farmland.
These are secured. Is working immediately.
Things are getting out of hand here, Aristagoras. We came for plunder, not slaughter.
The smoke is suffocating. Find another way. Fine work, men. The western gate belongs to us. The smoke is suffocating. Find another way.
More than half of the city is ablaze. We must press on.
We've taken the gate. And behold, reinforcements from the east. The mints are secured. Empty the stolen derricks from the Greeks' pockets.
Clear out the Greeks before there's nothing left!
The fields are black and dead. No pestilence ever caused such ruin as these Greeks.
Get the men out of that burning alley! Stay clear of the smoke! They've burned the temple of Kybele. What foul, Daiva-worshipping dogs are these?
We've recaptured the farms. Or what remains of them. We've retaken all the major districts. Now onto the Agora. Let us finish this. Metaphor for your predicament, Aristagoras. Fleeing for safety from the blaze you yourself started.
Now that fire was an accident. And even if it wasn't, it's your fault for building a city out of reeds.
Now, make haste!
Gather what loot you can! Regroup at Ephesus!
I swear by Mithra. Once I have extinguished this blaze, I will hunt you down, Aristagoras, and I shall tear out your lying tongue!
Fire is sacred to the Persians. In fire, they see the light and truth of their supreme god, Ahura Mazda. So imagine their horror as they watch the holy shrines of Sardis go up in flames. Imagine their fear as they fought the pitiless blaze. Imagine their anger as Aristagoras fled the city with his Greek marauders. Whether it was arson or accident, the burning of Sardis would spark untold horrors for both the Greeks and Persians. Invasions, massacres, slaughters, sieges. All these things I will relate to you, in good time. Artaphernes had no notion of what great and terrible events were to come. He was focused purely on bringing the treacherous Aristagoras to justice. His face still blackened with ash, Artaphernes gathered his swiftest riders and rode out after the rebels at a furious gallop.
Aristagoras will pass us on his way to Ephesus soon. We should pick off as many Greeks as we can before they make it to the city, as hunters take down lions that straggle behind the pack.
We are too few to confront the rebels head-on. But there are hidden places along the road where one could set up an ambush, as bandits often do. These bandits have a good eye for an ambush site. Seize it! Our archers will lie in wait at this overlook. Clear out these bandits and set up an ambush of our own. From this point, we can rain death on any who pass. The brigands planned a rock slide here. We'll take over their trap for ourselves. Make ready, men! The Greek column has arrived!
Archers, loose!
Ambush! Get to Ephesus! Quick!
You can't fault these bandits for ingenuity. The rock slide they prepared will serve us well.
Archers, loose! Fire a volley!
Our keen-eyed archers will set up their ambush here.
Archers, loose! Fire a volley! Unleash the boulders!
Lord Mithra, lover of justice, surely shudders to see the defilers of Sardis and its temples still alive. There must be retribution!
Fire a volley!
The rest of our forces have arrived. I suggest we commandeer one of the local villages as a base.
A fine location from which to strike the harbor of Ephesus. My scouts report strange banners to the south. We ought to investigate. Plump geese and finely milled flour from the food market in Sardis. Thank Ahura Mazda we saved it in time. My spies tell me that the Greeks are attempting to bring in supply convoys. Seize them, and Ephesus will starve.
When besieging a coastal city, one must force the issue both on land and sea. Squeeze the foe like a grape beneath the vintner's foot. Destroy the docks of Ephesus, and I wager the fleet will abandon the city.
The bowmakers of Sardis send aid. Thank Ahura Mazda we saved their workshops in time.
A wise soldier knows when to pull back and treat his wounds. I return to the fray. The cowards are trying to ship their stolen gold out of Ephesus. Don't let them escape! Artemisia, what brings the Queen of Halicarnassus so far from Caria? Here to help us deal with these rebels, I presume.
Nothing so virtuous, Datis. Bandits stole my prize horse and I tracked them here before they disappeared into the mountains. If you recover the horse for me, I might assist with your endeavors.
No trouble. Just take the horse.
A more merciful man than your brother, it seems. Very well, Artaphernes. I shall aid you.
Bandit-infested highways, wine-addled Greek oathbreakers, wandering warrior queens. What strange lands.
Blood-loving Enyo, witness this slaughter! Tell that slug-witted fool, Aristagoras, that Queen Artemisia comes for his head!
Let the justice meted out to these men be the beginning of still greater retribution. Now, we worship. Step forth, Artaphernes. You will act as Landleader, the leader of this rite.
Pour my offering, O Mithra, over the arrowheads of my archers.
Tell that slug-witted fool, Aristagoras, that Queen Artemisia comes for his head!
Fine work. Helmsman, watch for more transports. Fine work. Helmsman, watch for more transports.
By Zeus, this adventure hasn't turned out anything like what Aristagoras promised. Back to Athens, men!
Look to the front! There is glory to be won!
The walls of Ephesus are formidable indeed. I may need your expertise in the methods of siege, Datis.
By Ahura Mazda's grace, we're through the walls!
They get through the walls! Ready, my Pentaconta! This city is not safe! You may have forced me to flee again, but I have strongholds greater than this. I have soldiers fiercer than these, and I have the gods on my side.
You pitiable fool! Ahura Mazda will see to it that your lies are punished. You cannot run forever!
Like a boxer sent reeling by an unexpected blow, who then turns on his foe with renewed fury, Artaphernus landed his first counterblow to the rebellion at Ephesus. The Persians fully expected this uprising to shatter at the first sign of adversity. And yet the Greeks continued to resist. Artaphernus knew what had to be done. He directed the full might of Persia against Miletus, home city of Aristogoras and epicenter of the rebellion. This was no small undertaking. Miletus was a mighty metropolis, famed for its wealth. From its bustling harbor, Miletus had seeded the shores of the Black Sea with dozens of colonies. Now that harbor hosted the entire Ionian navy, its triremes bristling with fierce Greek marines. A formidable target. But Artaphernus was well acquainted with the endless squabbles of his former subjects, and knew that with a single loose thread, he could unravel the entire Greek alliance. Artaphernus soon found just such a thread. The Greek sailors were on the verge of mutiny, having been driven to exhaustion by the endless drills of their relentless admiral, Dionysius. Artaphernus had found the soft underbelly of Miletus. Now, he made ready to slit it open.
Greek fleet is moored off the island of Lade. Queen Artemisia will need our help to take it out, either through force or through espionage. The many layered walls of Miletus are exceptionally strong and can only be breached with sappers. Queen Artemisia will provide these.
And all the while, no doubt, we will be harried and harassed. We must defend ourselves, even as we prepare our assault.
Artaphernus, ready your triremes. This Ionian rabble can barely tie a reef knot, but they are numerous.
My spies report that the Samians in the Greek fleet are ready to turn. A few gold darage should tip them over the edge.
Back my rowers against any trireme that prowls these lawless waters. Coastal defenses, though, are a trickier matter.
Resist all you like, rebels. The Myander will carry your corpses to the sea.
Enough dallying, Artaphernus. I have need of your ships.
Your methods bear fruit again, Artaphernus. It seems there are many routes to victory.
Curse you, faithless dogs! Apollo strike you with pus-filled sores! And if we shrivel the wounds of your wives!
Citizens of Mias, lay down your arms and allow us passage to Miletus. Else you will suffer the same fate as all who disobey their rightful masters.
The great king's authority wears thin these days, and we will not comply without recompense. He has encamped nearby, and rather than seek employment, they use their arms to threaten our fields. Defeat them, and we may grant you passage.
If these were settled times, we would punish such insolence. But it may be more pragmatic to simply do as they ask.
Your offer was an insult, citizens of Mias.
Call back your men, Satrap. We wish to make an offer. Give Miles to us, and you shall have at your command the finest mercenaries in all Ionia. It's the urban life for us now, boys. Our very own city. Artaphernus, we will serve you well for this.
We have no wish to fight the great king. Please pass us by and do no harm to our fields and sanctuaries.
Useless, lazy, wine-sodden cowards! Hoist the sails and get us out of here! These fools are beyond my help!
The siege engineers ashore. Then the real fun begins. Dig, sappers! Dig as if you were trying to rescue Eurydice from Hades itself!
To arms! They're trying to undermine the walls!
Pick up your shovels and repair that tunnel. A sapping tunnel has collapsed. Restore it.
You think you can breach my walls, Artaphernus? I shall drink my finest wine and watch this comedy unfold. The outer walls are lost! Fall back, men! Father Zeus, look kindly on your humble servant. Just let me live, and I'll build you the greatest temple you've ever seen. Marble columns, one of those ivory-paneled statues, whatever you want.
Didyma with its precious temple of Apollo. How demoralizing it would be for the Milesians to watch it burn. And how just, after they torched the sanctuaries of Sardis.
That may be so, but I warn you, nothing good comes of burning temples, no matter the gods to which they are dedicated.
Your siege engines are ready, Artaphernes.
How dare you burn Apollo's temple? To arms!
For once you impress me, Aristagoras. My spies told me that you plan to flee to Thrace, and yet here you are, finally ready to face justice.
Ah! Thundering Zeus, that hurts! Is that... Oh, Hades, that's my liver!
Justice found you and your lies eventually, Aristagoras. As all deceivers one day discover.
A fine victory, my friend. To tell you the truth, I had you down as a mere bureaucrat, but you've proven yourself a true warrior. Your brother would be proud.
Kind words, Datis. But I dare say it's not pride that consumes my brother. No, our dealings with the Greeks are far from over.
With the capture of Miletus, the Greek rebellion shattered. The burning of Sardis still fresh in their minds, the Persians brutally stamped out the last isolated remnants of the uprising, taking cleansing fire to cities, fields, and sanctuaries. Ash and blackened bones were the only remaining testaments to the hubris of Aristagoras. For most men, this would have been vengeance enough. But for the great king of Persia, retribution had to be absolute. If a single rebel was seen to escape punishment, then Darius would soon be dealing with recalcitrant Bactrians, or the arrogant Babylonians again, or the Egyptians, for whom peace was simply an interlude between uprisings. No, there was still one enemy unpunished. Men who had sailed all the way across the Aegean just to pillage the great king's realm. 3 times each night at dinner, Darius had a servant whisper in his ear, "Master, remember the Athenians." So the great king ordered the construction of a mighty fleet and entrusted it to his most dependable commander, Datis. At the first fluttering of the Etesian winds, Datis launched his deep-bellied warships into the Aegean, their prows pointed for Greece. In those days, most fleets would travel along the coastline, returning to shore each night. But Datis had a different plan. He would cut a bloody swathe straight through the islands of the Aegean, starting with Naxos, where, all those years ago, the failure of Aristagoras had birthed such troubles for the Greeks.
I've come to see why my brother favors you so, Datis. Blessings of Ahura Mazda be upon you. Go do what that conman Aristagoras could not, and take Naxos.
Your blessings warm my heart, friend. Not only shall I take Naxos, but all those who stand between me and those temple-burning Athenians. You are subjects of the great king now. He is beneficent, if you are loyal. Men of Tenos, will you give your hillside city to Persia, or must I wash its slopes with your blood? Delians, do not hide away from me. I mean your sanctuaries no harm. Here, I bring frankincense as an offering for Apollo.
Your gentle approach to Delos yielded victory without bloodshed. Build a suitable hall to house royal emissaries, and you may be able to take other islands through persuasion.
You thought I'd leave all the glory to you, Datis? Help me establish a foothold, then I can finish hunting our old foe, Dionysius.
Fine base of operations, Datis. Now may Vayu carry you swiftly across the waves.
Tennis, abundant in fresh springs, now gives succor to our thirsty soldiers. Accept my advice, people of Naxos. Pledge your loyalty to the great king freely, for his wrath is gruesome indeed.
We turned back Persian ships once before, and we shall do so again!
I'm wounded. Fetch chicory and sweet violet. By the grace of Ahura Mazda, I return to fight. Andrians, I have no wish to sully your rich fisheries with gore. But if you resist, I shall roll your corpses off the quay by nightfall. We ought to move quickly, before the islanders can organize their resistance. Achaeans, come down from your mountain hideaways. You belong to the great king now. Our gracious king sends aid. Parians, I have long admired the pristine white marble you quarry. Do not make me stain it with your blood. Tell the great king earth and water from the Parians. Even now, they make ready to send their fine marble to Caesar. Demeter watches over your bountiful herds, Charistians. Soon she will witness your slaughter.
Look, men! I told you a life of piracy would be lucrative. And now see what Poseidon delivers into our laps. A splendid Persian fleet. Enough! Plot a course westward. We should be feasting on fat Carthaginian merchants, not wrangling with Persian warships.
My. These pirates have been busy. Retrieve the booty they have stolen.
Splendid work, Datis. My court could do with a few more like you. Now I shall sacrifice 4 goats to the 4 winds and hunt down Dionysius.
Truly, you love the hunt as much as your divine namesake. Full valleys of Andros, you shall please the great king with your service. Fine work, men! But our conquest has only just begun. We shall take the rest of Euboea, and then on to Athens!